All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So happy that you're all here. We have special guest, Psychic Arthur, joining us for the first time on the channel. How are you doing, my friend? Good to
I'm
see
doing
you.
well. I'm doing well. Thanks for inviting me. This is fun.
Yeah. I can't believe, well, Arthur and I met at Mel's Chicago retreat last year, which
Right.
was a lot of fun. But I was thinking about it. I was like kind of going through like possible collaborations, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't done a show with Arthur yet. So glad to have you on the channel, my friend. You're
And the
keeping
joke I
busy.
tell everybody about you is when I first met Kevin, he was sitting down. I went to shake his hand. He's like, "Oh, hi. How are you?" I'm Lilliputian next to him, so it's good.
Yeah, I think because I'm sitting when I'm doing the shows, people don't realize I'm quite so tall. I was
Mhm.
getting that a lot in Chicago. I'm 6'1", so.
Yeah.
So you
But
hanging
no,
in there, my friend? Trying to
yeah.
keep trying to stay distracted. You've been busy with a lot of collaborations, and your channel's been growing and doing really
Mhm.
well. Trying to stay sane in these troubling times, right?
I know. And well, that's another reason why I'm doing some of the faceless videos that are
Hmm.
non-political, but teaching people to heal the inner child because that's what we need right now.
Yeah,
And how to sage and put salt in your shoes, that kind of stuff. You know, that
yeah. Well, yeah, and I think a lot of empaths, light workers in our community, those that are very sensitive, it's the energy is just like empathic whiplash. It's so back and forth. Not to mention all the solar flares, all of the earth activity going on.
yes,
It's hard. Right now, I think the most important thing for a lot of us is just that energy management, right?
right. But I learned a while ago, and I talk about this often for empaths, light workers, psychics, anyone that's highly sensitive
Mm-hmm.
is basically to have copper on their body. Like
Mm,
I don't go anywhere without copper pennies in my pocket or copper bracelet. When I spent time in Tokyo, I was wearing the compression socks with copper threading. The reason is, light bulb, moth, empath,
mm-hmm.
energy,
Yeah.
empath, copper. The energy goes to the copper and gets grounded
Interesting.
so it doesn't go into you. You can
I'll have
still
to try
feel it.
that.
I recommend it to everybody. I've been doing it for like 25 years. So
Uh-huh.
it works.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
simple.
I've been doing a lot of Reiki to kind of heal
Hmm.
and clear. That's kind of what's been getting me through it. But yeah, I'll try the copper.
I mean, meeting Kevin's like meeting walking Valium. It really is. He's a great guy.
Oh.
Very calm.
I always say that even when I'm not consciously channeling Reiki energy, just being a conduit for that light, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of the viewers kind of sense it. So it kind of, even though we're reading on a lot of lower vibrational things, the Reiki kind of helps keep us all grounded and
Oh yeah.
calm. Um, so
Or as I say, just send them love and light till they get it right.
right, right. Anything going on with you and your channel? Anything? You have any announcements or anything that you want to share before
It's
we
just
get
been
started?
not necessarily. I mean, I was supposed to go to the studio yesterday, tomorrow, but that's been canceled to do some faceless video voiceovers. So that'll be the
Hmm.
following week. But I'm doing Friday's my member show, Sunday's my solo show, and Monday I'll be with Allie and Marina for Letting Spirit Drive on Monday, and
Nice.
and then that week I'm taking the first week of July off. So
Yeah,
and,
I just got back from a road trip, and it was much needed.
yeah,
Kind of rest and recharge from this energy a little bit. But I
yeah,
feel feeling a lot better afterwards. So
that's
it's
good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'll have to.
important. Self-care is really important right now.
Well, as I tell everybody, it's it's a selfish act to take care of oneself
Right?
so you can help others.
Did you say it's selfless, right?
Selfless,
Yeah,
selfless act.
selfless. Absolutely.
And there's a difference between loving yourself and pampering.
You're right. It's all everything in the universe is about balance, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and frequencies.
Right. And I think I'm going to be on Susan Lynn's channel next week. I have to chat with
Oh,
her.
great.
Um, I'm sure I'll do a solo show sometime between later this week or early next week. All I have going on, if anybody's interested in taking Holy Fire Reiki level 1 and 2 classes, I posted it on my community tab earlier today. I have it August 23rd and September 13th. You can go to my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com, to get more information or to enroll. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email. I do have openings for reading, Reiki sessions, or a combination of both, I think going into middle of July. So
cool. I am doing a session, Val from Dragonfly Crystals. We're doing a Zoom event on the 12th of July, and for 10, well, I have room for 10, and then we do a Zoom call. Everybody's reading for 10 minutes, and we've been doing it for a couple of months now. It's working out nice.
What kind of event are you doing with Val?
A Zoom, to just read.
Readings?
It's readings, individual readings for about 10 minutes.
Nice.
But when you have 10 people in the room now, that energy just goes around and around, and you're answering stuff for other people as well. They don't realize it until everybody's related. You get the same readings and energy. It's really great. So
it's very interesting too. I get very similar things with the Reiki, like something with like the numbers and more people participating. It's like that energy is just really expanded and amplified. And I'm sure it's the same thing if you're doing group readings like that. It's like the energy, everybody's collective energy comes together, and you're getting multiple messages for different people at the same time, right? Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, just that energy just comes, in, and it's all loving, and it's great. Also, it's loving vibrations, really.
Loving vibrations, right? All right, you guys. So Arthur and I are going to be reading on politics, current events, lots going on. I've been busy all afternoon, so I haven't watched much of the news today. But if you have a question that you want us to read on, go ahead and write it in all caps, a couple emojis if possible. I'm starring and reading, so if I miss your question, you can just send it in a couple times, okay? We'll get to as many as possible. What are your thoughts about, we were kind of chatting a little bit backstage before we went live, but, what's going on in the Middle East, the U.S. involvement in it. I've been kind of saying, I did feel like, I did call it last week that I did feel there was going to be an airstrike and some retaliation. And I don't feel like it's quite over yet, but it's kind of just like a theater of illusions, right? Like, look over here. Let's not look at everything else going on. Let's not look at all of this active growing resistance against Trump and all of the protests, or even like, his connection to Epstein, him fighting with Elon. I feel like it's all just a diversion so that Trump can drop something and then play peacemaker and be the good guy, which I think we can all see through. What are you picking up with the current situation, my friend?
Weapons of mass distraction.
Yeah. It's kind of like reliving the whole George W. Bush era, right?
Right. But also I feel that, the way he felt he was treated at the G7 and everything else, and the parade with the squeaky little tank. I mean, all that stuff is just, I feel when he said 2 weeks, he didn't know what he was going to do. And then I feel he just, okay, I can't take this anymore. I've got to get a distraction here.
Yeah. Well, and also too, he kind of gave them a heads up so that they could move the uranium out. It's the same thing with Iran going after our bases. They gave them a heads up so that there was no casualties, or a lot. It could be intercepted. So it's all just theater, right?
Theater of the absurd.
The absurd, right?
But they're also talking that Netanyahu and Trump were talking about this weeks ago. So it wasn't like this was just a last minute deal,
right?
So like you said, everything that was piling up here on Trump and Epstein and everything else. Oh, look over here.
Yeah. Well, he's the king of deflection and distraction, right?
Hmm. Up until now.
Yeah. I think a lot of us are kind of used to Trump and just staying focused and on all the damage that he's causing for our country, all the cruelty and inhumane actions towards others.
I mean, they call themselves Christian nationalists, and they read the Bible, but they're taking all the cruel things out of the Bible and using those
Mhm.
as opposed to love thy neighbor as I love thyself.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Crazy times we're in, for sure. But
You
you
know,
know what I've been saying, and I don't know if you've been seeing something similar, but even though like we're kind of moving through this like really heavy energy on multiple fronts, I don't know, part of me, I'm starting to feel a bit of excitement and hope again too. I feel like there's going to be a lot of really positive changes, although we're kind of moving through heavy energies like possible war, um, you know, all of the horrific treatment for like the migrants, with the ICE raids and all of that. And it feels like it's going to continue to escalate, but like I don't know. I feel like the consciousness is all kind of coming together and fighting back, and it just feels very hopeful and exciting. Do you get a similar feeling for like the
yeah.
summer?
When I was doing a show and outside the window, like all these people and honking, and I kept on apologizing to everybody, and I said, "We don't hear anything."
Mm.
Well, when I was done, I looked out the window. There's like 1,000 people outside my window.
Oh wow,
And
nice.
so I went down, and it was great. And the energy there was just so fun, and everybody was like the same reasons for being there. It wasn't a hive mentality. It was everybody
Mhm.
was there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of police officers and people just walking up to the police and shaking their hands, saying thank you for your service and stuff like that. But the best one was this one guy had this. I can't say it because there's a lot of F words about what I call the garden gnome, Christi Noem.
Hmm. Okay.
And the guy was playing a trombone next to it, the Barbie Girl song.
Uh-huh.
So I mean that was fun.
Ice
That's
Barbie.
yeah, no. I'm a Barbie girl, that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, Ice Barbie. That would be good.
Ice Barbie. I like that. Yeah.
And nobody's
That's
seen her
really
since.
encouraging. Well, you're
Yeah.
in LA too, so you're kind
Mhm.
of, it's been publicized a lot about your protests and, you
But
know,
what's interesting was when
theory
everybody,
and all that.
some of my, we'll just say MAGA relatives, oh my God, are
Mhm.
you surviving the riots? Oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, it's fake news. It's 4 blocks.
Right? Yeah. They made it seem
Somebody
like LA
started,
was on fire, right?
yeah, somebody was spray painting in the building. Next thing you know, the cops and people were like throwing smoke grenades and tear gas into the peaceful crowd and then shooting with rubber bullets. And then Fox
Mhm.
came out and took all the pictures. So it looked like
Mhm.
it was like a war zone or battle. It wasn't that at all.
It's the same thing that they did with the border,
Hmm.
when Biden was president,
But when they
you
brought
know.
in the Marines, I mean, that's just a bit much. And what I said is because they didn't have food, they didn't have somewhere to stay. I said, let's get taco trucks and just line them up to feed them.
Yeah.
So, but it's this too shall pass. And
Yeah.
like I said, the energy when I was out there was just I felt part of something.
Mm. Yeah, and it's not
And
calming down. It's just going to continue to grow.
July 17th is the next No Kings.
I saw that. I did see that they're doing something on July 4th, which um I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as big as the last protest, but like I said, I see the energy
It
kind
also
of
depends
continuing.
on what you know our leader does
Hmm.
and just ran
Yeah.
like if they had not had the National Guard and the Marines coming into Los Angeles, I'm not sure if No King's Day would have been as big as it was.
Hmm.
That was just
But
everyone. Enough is enough.
do you also feel? I kind of feel as the protests grow over the summer, um, Trump implementing sending the military to other big cities too across the U.S.
I was picking up issues in Texas with Abbott and
Yeah, I can
crowds
see
and
that.
stuff like that. So somebody asked me if it was going to be martial law. I said close to it, but not really. But if it is, it's only for like an hour or two, but not nationally, just maybe locally. But
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, I feel I want to say that I don't want to say it, but by the end of July, I feel somebody may go a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And there may be some casualties or let's say injuries.
Yeah. I've seen the same.
And that's going to make everyone go, okay, that's
enough. Yeah.
I've been seeing this trend like a battered wife syndrome with him. You know, it's like they make excuses, and all of a sudden that's it.
Yeah, it's like it's just too much. We've had enough. And I agree. I've been seeing I feel like he may declare martial law is kind of what I was picking up. But it's not like it's just one thing. I know we just had the bombing of Iran. Everybody's asking, is he going to be impeached? Which we'll chat about. And I see that we get a lot of questions about that. You know, when is this thing going to take him out? And it's not just one thing to me. It's a collective of many things.
It's a stack.
It's a building, yeah. I just lost what I was going to say. Sorry.
Sorry.
But I do agree with you. I feel like he takes it a step too far where even like Republicans can't condone it. It's just like everybody's had enough.
But I feel it's going to be one of the ICE people or someone like that just that's it. You know, like I said, with these masks and their hat, why don't they just wear a white hood? You know, that's what they are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, I agree though. I do feel and I've been telling my subscribers too, you know, make sure that if you're able to and you want to be part of the resistance movement, go out and protest, but also be very aware of your surroundings, you know, bring that intuition in and, you know, of course, be safe because I agree. I do feel like there is going to be some violence at some of the protests and it doesn't feel like it's from counter protesters. It feels like it's, like I said, military ICE agents, something like that.
Going too far.
Yeah.
But there's also a wonderful site that I direct a lot of people to. It's the number 5 calls, CALLS, 5calls.org. And that gives you a listing of all your representatives, and they give you templates to follow, emails, snail mail addresses, everything. And I do that about once or twice a week because you just don't do it once. You have to keep it up.
Yeah, you have to keep the pressure on the lawmakers. And, you know, as we saw too, even like the Democratic ones. It's kind of an exciting thing going on in the Democratic Party. I know a lot of people are disappointed that such a small numbers of Democrats actually went along with the impeachment, which we can chat more about. But then also like look at the election in New York City last night too. Everybody was saying Cuomo was going to win, and not that he can't run in the general election because this is just a Democratic primary, but I feel like there's not that I think more people are connecting with Democrats, but even the Democrats have a low approval number right now because people are tired of the status quo and you know, these corporate Democrats that have been in there for 30, 40 years and needed to retire a decade ago. They're looking for that fiery progressive
Jasmine Crockett
energy.
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, absolutely.
Dan Goldman. And the thing is, though, unfortunately, I've been trying. I do watch some of the legacy news just to see what they're not. And
yeah, I do.
They're not showing a lot of what the Democrats are doing.
Yeah.
Like Bernie Sanders and AOC, they may just mention it, but they don't show it. If they do, it's like, you know, right before.
I was surprised that they covered the protests as much as they did. The No Kings protests a few weeks ago.
They had to. It was all over the place. You couldn't ignore it.
You're right. Exactly.
You know, I
But
still can't go on.
no, I'm sorry. Like I said, though, I see a lot of positive change in the Democratic Party where even, you know, a lot of these Democrats that maybe didn't vote for impeachment, I feel a lot of pressure because of election results and from these progressives going out there and starting movements of this resistance. They're not going to be able to be complacent
No,
and just sit back and, you know, go along and write strongly worded letters to Donald Trump when he does something that he shouldn't do.
it doesn't
I mean,
read.
it's bullshit.
It's a waste of time.
You
It
know,
doesn't read.
it doesn't, and it's not meeting the moment and the importance of the moment.
But what I'm also seeing is, though, that as the Democrats mobilize and get their voice back, things are changing.
Oh
Things
yeah.
are. And I also feel as we get towards September, October, that's when I'm getting a lot of change. I'm getting a lot of lawsuits the end of July into September being filed.
Yeah, I agree. August, September, and October, it feels like it's settling down, but August and September specifically, I don't know. I get a lot of that hopeful energy.
I mean, I've been saying this for a while, but something about the end of September, I have seen. This may be just not a vision, or maybe just something else, but I just see him handcuffed to a gurney being wheeled out in September.
Yeah.
It could just be, you know, whatever. I don't think it's wishful thinking because I've been seeing this for 2 years now.
Yeah, I feel very similar too. I felt like May, beginning of June, like we kind of weathered half of the storm. We were in the eye of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that it was peaceful, but it was kind of like the calm before the storm. And I think we just went back into the second half of it. So it's like a couple more months of chaos before like the storm's weathered and, you know, we can all breathe a deep sigh of relief.
Yeah, that's what this country needs, is able to finally exhale, because we've all been holding our breath for too long.
Yeah. What was a lot of people in the chat want to know about and I'll post it. Let me find it. They want us to look into why the Democrats voted not to impeach Trump today.
Because they know they wouldn't get the votes.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, this won't be the first time articles of impeachment will be brought up against Trump. There's going to be more stuff added onto this.
Yeah.
And then it'll be brought up again. That's how I read this.
Mm-hmm.
They're biding their time.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just said what I got here was they're biding their time.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw a couple of cards on it. My feeling with it, though, is kind of, yeah, they're kind of biding time. You know, they want to kind of gather and collect a lot until it's like, they want to be serious with the impeachment. They don't want to impeach him every week because he did something unconstitutional, you know?
Right.
It's kind of like, and, you know, this isn't the first time that a president has done airstrikes or acted aggressively towards another country without having Congress declare war or getting Congress's approval. It's kind of been a thing since Bush, right? I'm not saying I agree with it.
I believe so, but the thing is, when those things did happen, though, some people were notified, not all of Congress, but this time it was just Republicans, and they kept the Democrats out of the loop. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I get. So what are you getting on the cards?
Well, I had the Three of Cups come out, which is support, friendships, you know, and until the whole Democratic Party, you know, you had Jeffries vote against impeachment today. It's going to be a collaborated effort, all coming together at the right time. Mm-hmm. There is going to be action taken and justice here.
Oh, yeah.
But it's almost like you have the Hierophant, which is like the government, higher higher order, higher what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like the leaders and all of that, higher order. It's going to take like a big loss collectively. And I almost feel like maybe that's going into what we were chatting about earlier about maybe loss of life, or maybe even more lawmakers being targeted with attacks. There's like a sadness that brings them to action to fight for the justice. It's kind of what I'm getting for that.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't over.
It's not over.
I don't see the Democrats like kowtowing and going away. I just think they're waiting for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, once they have not only know where the bodies are buried, but know where the shovels were bought, and they have all that information, then they'll come forward. It's not that long. It's not. I don't feel it's that too much longer.
I agree with you. Like I said, the summer is going to be. It's not going to be easy, but I get a lot of excitement and positive change kind of coming in too.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you feel about Trump's health? I just did a reading on it with Lori yesterday. I mean, he looks awful, but I think he pushes things too far. And like in the next month or two, like the health really going down for Trump.
2 years ago, I said, I don't worry about Trump because you have to be alive to be a president.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, he's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I go by the Isle of the Swiss cheese, I think that's his brain. Or what was the other thing? I said, like he's like every character from The Wizard of Oz. He has no brain, has no heart, and has no courage.
That's so funny too, because when I did a reading on it yesterday, those areas were actually the chakras that were coming up for Trump. Mm-hmm. Cognitive decline, the third eye, with like the 7 of Cups. So not being grounded into reality, just being stuck in his head. I feel like there's a very strong risk for a stroke, something related to the heart, and then something in the abdominal area too, which I was feeling like maybe it was like bladder or like colon related issues too.
Do you believe that he has a colostomy?
Well, I do feel like he has issues with that. I don't know if it's a colostomy bag, but I did see it looked pretty evident that he had
the catheter thing.
The catheter, yeah. Although I don't think he has it on right now. I think he was kind of going through something. Yeah.
And it's all. Sorry.
You're all good. Out of your control, right?
It was Gabriel. It's all going to over now.
All right. So we got a lot of questions here. Judy wants to know what happened to the puppy killer. We haven't seen her face for over a week. I did hear that she was released from the hospital.
What do you feel was the allergy?
I do feel like it was an allergy. I don't know exactly what it was, but what I was focusing in on it, they were showing me the mouth, which would be like ingesting something, or maybe too much lip filler in her lip glue.
That's what I was feeling. Well, first of all, she's allergic to the truth. So
we're right.
And
so her mouth blew up from all the crap that was coming out of it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The funniest joke I heard about her was, a woman buys a garden gnome, puts it in the garden, and the husband calls it Christi Noem because it's porcelain, hollow, and the dog's afraid of it.
What do you get? So I think she's probably recovering and taking it easy after her hospital stay, but I do believe that she's out of the hospital now. A lot of people,
but also some of the sympathy vote too.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she was getting too much sympathy.
No.
No. I don't think there were too many well wishes or people that really cared that she had an allergic reaction.
The guy that does her extensions, maybe.
Maybe. um, so I've been getting some Trump officials in his cabinet leaving soon, and I've picked up on Hegseth and Tulsi. A lot of people were thinking Christi Noem too. I did read on it, I think, last week, and I felt like she was going to weather the storm and go down with the ship. When Trump goes down, it's like the end of everything for her. But do you get a sense with, do you feel like she's leaving soon, or what do you get a sense
What I
with
was
her?
feeling, first of all, I felt that Rubio is going to be used as scapegoat for stuff. And I've been saying Hedgehog's going to be out of there soon.
Yeah, I got that when he was confirmed. Mm-hmm.
Ever since the Ides of March, I mean, that was it for him. And then Tulsi Gabbard, I feel they've ostracized her a bit. So we'll see. Yeah.
Well, and also, too, obviously Trump was upset with Hegseth because of his birthday parade. In Trump's mind, it was all about his birthday. It was not about.
I just can't get that image of the tank.
Oh, yeah, the squeaky toy tank. Yeah, I saw that video. But then also, I think his response to this like attack and everything, I feel like he's going to be a scapegoat. Donald Trump's going to throw him right under the bus, and I think it's happening really rather sooner rather than later.
I'm surprised he's still there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him being out in the next week or two. That's how close the energy feels to me.
I'm also getting something with Kash Patel.
Oh, Kash Patel, interesting. What are you getting with Kash Patel? You feel him leaving?
By October.
By October. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Trump's actually even in there when he's gone?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I've always felt, I don't know if this is wishful thinking, but I've seen it many times that the House may be blue before the midterms.
Yeah.
Due to indictments and people being arrested and stuff like that coming out. So we'll see.
I feel a collective amount of things, and I don't know exactly when. Like I said, I feel a lot of energy of like change, like August, September, October. I do feel like a lot of election interference stuff is going to come out too, but it almost feels like we're in an unprecedented time because I don't really feel. I mean, if Trump's out, JD Vance would take over. Just
no, I never saw him.
That line is, but I don't see that either. Or if he is,
I see him as a co-conspirator.
Yeah. So then, who would be in charge? Do you feel like they can figure out?
Mike Johnson's going down.
Yeah, I don't see Mike Johnson either. It's
and
almost to me.
I feel it's going to be blue, and I feel like I'm just going to say it that the Speaker of the House would then be Hakeem Jeffries. He moves forward, but I don't see just him acting as president. I feel there's like a committee.
Yeah, like a group of people.
Yeah, like bringing Elizabeth Warren to go after the credit bureau stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And others.
And I almost feel like it's such a mess to clean up and try to get into the election. Like we actually have to have a new election. So maybe that's why the House would be blue before midterms, because we have to have another election for all offices. It feels like it's just a cluster, you know what?
Fire truck.
Mm-hmm.
Has all the letters.
Yeah. Well, it can't happen soon enough.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel I'm picking up Hegseth, and I threw cards on Tulsi too, and I felt Tulsi actually resigning. And I almost wonder though too, we all know, you know, for entertainment purposes only, she's a Russian asset. And Putin is not happy about what's going on with Iran. And she came out before, said that there was no intelligence that they were making bombs or whatever. So I feel like at some point, I feel them kind of going head to head, and her maybe just resigning and walking away.
Part of it is I also feel that Trump and Netanyahu, you know, Netanyahu came to Trump and said, hey, we've got intel that they're going to be bombs.
Yeah, he was full
Trump
of it.
Never checked it or anything like that. Entertainment purposes only. And that was enough to, push him
Mm-hmm.
on the tail of everybody hating him from the G7 and everything else.
Yeah. I think well, he was in at The Hague today for the NATO summit.
Oh, he
When I
looked
read on it
horrible.
yesterday, I felt him getting into it with somebody, but I think he left. So if it happened, it was behind the scenes. It wasn't public. But to
that
me, it actually, the energy was very sad because it's like all of the NATO countries want to try to work with Trump and extend an olive branch. And I kind of feel like after the summit, they're all kind of like turning their back on the US, kind of going to like the US isolationism kind of,
well, it's kind of
because
like
they can't
they're all
trust
trying to
us.
give him an olive branch. He takes it and starts whipping them with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I didn't see his whole press conference, but I know that he was going on about Spain and their contributions to defense spending. So maybe that was
one thing they agreed to is that they would spend more for defense.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is transactional with this man.
Yeah. Well, and they're going to need to spend more money on defense because they can't trust us to help out
Exactly
Zelensky in Ukraine. So it's really going to be the NATO countries coming in, giving intel and, weapons and assistance that way too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And don't forget, she also killed a goat.
Did she kill a goat? I remember I heard about the dog. She's just there's a couple of them that really just come across as soulless to me. Her and Stephen Miller.
Oh,
it's just darkness within them.
This is why you have to close the toilet and put the lid down, because you never know what's going to crawl out.
That's very true.
And the one that just drives me nuts is also Nancy Mace.
Yeah, she's pretty disgusting too. And I heard too recently, was it a Florida House member had a ectopic pregnancy and had issues in Florida with needing to get that taken care of, and then she was blaming Democrats for it.
Mm-hmm.
The gaslighting is just crazy, isn't it?
It's a great movie with Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman, but that's about it.
So Kat wants to know, will Zohran Mandami be New York's next?
I got mixed feelings on it. I'm not sure. Did I freeze up?
I kind of froze up, so I don't know if it was me. What were you picking up with Mandami?
I'm leaning towards a yes, but it's a mild yes. It's not like yes.
It's not a slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk yet. I do feel like I would not be surprised if Como runs as an independent and gets a lot of the corporate Democrat money in the race because they don't want him to be the mayor.
Who's on the Republican ticket?
I don't remember his name. They had the Republican primary too. I threw cards in the past about Cuomo and felt like he was going to get it. But yesterday I read on the primary and actually felt a lot of momentum around Mandani, and actually he got like the sun, and I was like, yeah, it looks like he's going to win the primary. But in the general election, I still feel like he's got a good shot, but I do feel like there's something kind of halting that energy, and it's probably a lot of that big donor money going against him.
What I'm getting here is I think we'll know by the end of August. There's some stuff going down that we'll see it at that point. Because right now I'm not seeing it. It's like they're talking to me, but it's like through underwater.
Yeah. I get a very similar feeling, like Two of Swords.
Choices.
What direction do I go into? But he's got the Fool and the Star crossing him, so there is a new beginning on the horizon, and people love that he brings that message of hope and inspiration. But there is some restriction here. It's a bit of war energy that makes him feel restricted in some way. I want to say yes is what I'm going to do.
Trans rights too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. All good. I want to say yes. I do feel like he's going to get it. I do feel a little bit cautious with it though too. So we might have to wait till we get a little bit closer and the energy becomes clearer.
Well, let's see. Like I said, I feel now that the primary's over, now we can start campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and go to the constituents that he may have ignored before, or they seemed ignored. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not an easy victory for him. There's definitely some complications with it. Mm-hmm. But I think even if he doesn't get it, I do see him in like a national profile with the Democratic Party. He's definitely got a big career. And I think part of this new fiery Democratic leaders with a message and know how to communicate with voters and get them to kind of rally behind it. The Democratic Party is going to be going through a lot of really positive but necessary changes, along with the Republican Party. When Trump goes down, it's going to implode.
I keep on seeing a picture of the Hindenburg, so that's
yeah.
Oh, the humanity.
Pauline asked, and we kind of talked about the election earlier, but Pauline says, hi, Arthur and Kevin. Will findings by Substack reveal how the election was stolen and that Kamala actually won be enough to get Trump out of office?
Not just what's on Substack.
It's going to grow.
There are people working on this, and they're paying out of their own pocket, you know, and raise some money to do this. And I've always felt that there's 5 things that they're going to bring forward, 5 ways that things were altered. And so, but they want to make sure the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and
they have to.
You know, not.
It's like
not
mainstream media. It's why mainstream media is not covering it. They don't want another Dominion lawsuit. They want to make sure that they actually have all of the evidence in place before we hear about it. But I do see the mainstream media talking about the election. It is bigger than just the Substack. And I can actually feel, I'm hearing more and more people actually starting to question the election results and hearing more and more about the manipulation. So it's going to continue to grow. There's going to definitely be more investigations into it. And then it's, what's that county in New York? Rockland?
Yeah.
That I think they go back. I think they're finding evidence and go back to court, I think, end of September. But I feel more information coming out way before then.
Well, even AOC was looking at ballots, and she said, why would somebody vote for me and then vote for Trump as president on the same ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can look at North Carolina, where they had elected Democrats for all of their state offices, but they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Or I don't remember if there was a Senate race in North Carolina. The federal races went red, but they want to vote blue. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out.
Yep. I'm with you on that too. All right. Someone asked about Stephen Miller resigning. I don't see that right now.
No. I mean, he got away with ripping kids from their parents in the first round, and now look what he's doing. He's going to be around for a bit, but he's going to go down eventually in flames.
He's going to go down with Trump, I feel like. But right now, he's got the stars, so he's thinking that he's sitting pretty. The Fool comes in, which would be a new beginning, and him feeling a bit trapped and restricted, not sure of where to go for the future. So it's coming, but I don't feel like he's leaving in the next month or two.
No.
He'll go down with the Trump sinking ship, is what I'm feeling.
I'm not saying he's reincarnated, but I always get the energy of Goebbels around him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could absolutely see that. He was a Nazi officer, right?
Mm-hmm. He was the lots of propaganda.
Yeah. What about Johnson? We're looking into all of them. Are they all leaving soon?
Look, when he first was announced, I felt like in a matter of months that there's going to be some scandal coming out about him.
Yeah.
And it never happened. I still feel there's something there and it was squashed. And I still feel something's
coming out at some point, though.
Yeah.
Like sex scandals.
Well, this is how I explain him. He looks like the nice guy next door, suburban station wagon. Everything's great and wonderful. Then he drives into the woods where he has his little cabin, and underneath is the root cellar with kids.
Yeah.
Entertainment purpose only. It's like a movie,
Yeah, he's definitely a bit of a creepo. I see actually, and I don't know if he leaves. I'm going to throw a couple cards on it. But with this whole big BS budget bill, I actually see a lot of Republicans coming out against him for it.
Yeah.
And I see him leaving. He's not going to finish out his term. But when? He's got a lot of challenges up ahead. I do feel like he's able to kind of hang in there for now. He's kind of fighting and pushing through it. A new beginning on the horizon for him, but he's got the Ten of Swords, which is burdened. You can see the mountain not being an easy journey ahead. Lots of big information coming out, I feel like, making him really emotional. But he has the support right now. So, do you feel like the budget bill is going to pass? I don't feel it's going to pass by July 4th, but
it's going to get extended, delayed. But I also feel there's more changes to be made.
I agree. It's kind of like negotiating and going back and forth. And I do see something going through.
Eventually.
Another thing that's going to be added onto this fiery list of people coming up and fighting back, being part of the resistance. But I see it kind of going back and forth between the Senate and the House. It feels like it kind of stalls out a little bit. It's not going to be easy.
The Senate adds their stuff, then they go to the House. The House does their thing. They have to get back to the Senate
and send it back.
It's like remember Pong, the original video game.
I don't remember Pong.
It was like tennis. The balls would go back and forth. So
everybody's asking when everybody's going to leave. What about Moscow Mitch's health? He's not doing well. He hasn't been doing well. I actually got with his last fall. I felt like there was going to be another public fall or incident, and he had that speech come up. But I don't feel he's going to finish out his term. I don't wish it, but I don't know if he'll survive his term.
Well, his districts are so gerrymandered. But did you know that somebody for years sent his office turtle food?
Really?
Yeah, it looks like a turtle. So
maybe it gave him enough strength. That's why we can't get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, he's slowpoke. But I've always felt he's on shaky ground.
Yeah, I see him out. He's got major health. He's got multiple different things with the health. He's got the 5 of Wands. There's obstacles and challenges with the health. There's going to be a big announcement about the health or him soon. Heart related. and then like the sacral chakra coming into, so that could even be lower abdomen. I don't feel good about like his heart health too. He was having strokes, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. I don't feel he'll finish his term, whether he's alive or, like I said, I'm kind of feeling like he may not even be alive to finish his term. But I actually see a Democrat. I don't know if it's Bashir. I think Bashir's going to run for president, but I think his term's about up as governor around then. But I don't see Bashir winning the presidency or getting past the primary, but I could actually see him in the Senate. I feel like there's going to be a Democrat.
I can see
in the
him as a
Senate.
congressman or senator.
Yeah, I feel senator.
What do you think about Lisa Murkowski?
Oh, I've always felt like she was going to switch to be an independent.
Yeah, because Alaska, they vote in coalitions, not necessarily Democrat, Republican.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She won as a write-in candidate. Mm-hmm. She lost the primary and won as a write-in, I believe. I see her changing parties. Up there one card for temperance, balance. She's going to stay in power. Lots of energy moving forward for her, momentum. She's going to be fiery and outspoken against Trump, I feel like. I don't think she's going to switch to a Democrat, but...
No, I felt independent.
Independent, but I think she'll actually...
side with Democrats.
For a lot of it. It's kind of like half and half, I feel like. All right. Covering a lot today. Will Bove be confirmed as a judge? I don't know who that is. Excuse me. I don't know if you know who that is, but I can throw a card on it.
He's the guy that from the DOJ. He's the third one down. Mm-hmm. And he was the attorney for Trump on all the stuff. And supposedly he told the DOJ to lie to the judges and everything like that regarding Garcia and everything else. And he told them to F you.
Was he at the congressional hearing?
I believe so. But they're voting him for judge. Life appointment.
It's interesting because I do feel like he'll get in and then like the tower moment drops on him. So there's a big bombshell coming with him. Trump's fighting really hard for him. He's a soldier for Trump. I get the Ace of Swords, which would be some kind of new beginning, a yes. But very imbalanced. This is not quick energy. But like I said, there is a bit of a big bombshell coming out with him. Implosion.
I just pulled a creepy kid card.
Yeah. Assistance help. Interesting.
So if he's going to get in, it's because other people are helping him.
Yeah. So. Like I said, and it feels like Trump's really writing hard for him too. I just want to say thank you real quick. I don't think I said thank you. I got a couple super chats. Thank you, Julie.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
And she just became a member too. Welcome to the membership program, Julie. Appreciate that. And Carmen, thank you so much. We kind of went over this a little bit earlier, but do you get a definite feeling of when he's going to be removed? He's so hard. Energy and time is always so hard to.
It's fluid.
Yeah, right. It's always constantly changing, right?
But I'm just going to say, for the last 2 years, I always saw him on a gurney, handcuffed.
September.
And I was going by the end of September.
We'll see if I can get a number with these cards. The Hangman, 12. I don't think it's 12 days, but it could be 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
12 weeks, I think. Or maybe even December. I don't think it's 12 months, but. And actually, if you broke 12 down in numerology, it'd be a 3. So within 3 months would be that would be end of September. Or end of September.
Okay.
Or end of June now. Thank you, likable person. Appreciate that. We're almost at an hour. I'm fine with going over a little bit. If you are, if
Okay.
not, I get it.
Okay. I have no
Um,
life. Come on.
I'm having fun.
I'm enjoying myself. Thanks again for inviting me, Kevin.
Yes, it should have. We should have done a collaboration a while ago. We'll have to do something on. You'll have to have me on your channel.
Mm-hmm. You will.
All right. Let's see. What do we think of the NATO attendees? How did they view Trump? They were kissing the ring to his face, but all talking about him behind his back.
It kind of reminds me of the difference between New York and Los Angeles. In New York, they'll tell you to go F off. In Los Angeles, it's like, hey, come to the party. Then behind your back, I'm not going to say them F off because they may get a role or something and they get a contract. And I got to be friends with them.
You're right. They all think he's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep on hearing from the movie Carrie, they're going to laugh at you. The mother.
Uh-huh. Well, maybe they'll grow a pair and throw some pig's blood on him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trying to find some questions. Sorry. A lot of the stuff we've already covered. We've covered a lot. What do we think of international travel? Is it going to be safe to do this?
I get a yes on it. I'm going to say, though, make sure you don't have any memes of J.D. Vance as a bald egghead. Do you remember that guy from Sweden, was it? Or Netherlands? That came in to visit for his vacation, and they took his phone and looked through social media and found a picture of Vance without a bald-headed Vance egghead.
Mm-hmm.
They shipped him back. They wouldn't let him into the country.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I guess be careful, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's security here, but I am be very cautious with traveling. Not to say that it's not going to be safe, but like I said with the protest, be aware of your surroundings.
Also, it depends where internationally you're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true too. I see it getting a little bit dicey here in the States between, I do feel like there's going to be some, and I was telling Arthur this before we went live, I was getting a hit around the 4th of July. Kind of feel like in the Northeast, one of the big cities for the holiday, some kind of terror incident. And I do feel like a lot more domestic terrorism as well. And I do feel some incidents over in Europe too. So there's an element of being cautious, but I think it's really important also not to live in fear, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, when we were talking about Iran earlier, I feel they're playing the long game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I do feel like there's going to still be some back and forth between them and Israel, even them and us, right?
Yeah.
It's not over. Although I don't get the sense Iran is going to be very careful with how they retaliate against the U.S. because they don't want full-blown war with the U.S.
But they are going to, this is just going to make them like, let's make this bomb now. You know, let's speed it up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know, it didn't really we're hearing about it now in the news, and I guess Trump was getting all pissed off about it today, but it didn't take out their nuclear program or really set it back.
6 months, they said the most.
Actually, I don't even think that much. They moved a lot of that uranium out of those facilities.
Oh, it was gone. Yeah.
Do you feel like, I've always felt like there's going to be some regime change in Iran, but I don't feel like it's happening tomorrow. It might be like within the next year or two.
Well, I know the Shah's son has been like trying to get everybody to get him and the royal family back in, but I don't see that happening either.
Yeah, there's a tower coming for them, and it's going to change things. I actually see the women starting to speak up, stand up and speak out. It's like the Mad King. There's an ending to the Mad King. The world's watching the situation. It brings in the tower, and things changing with that. But a lot of You know, and this, I think it's going to be a gradual thing.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said the long game.
Mm-hmm. I would say it feels like it's within like the next 3 years, though. I feel like there is some kind of regime change there.
Yeah.
If not,
It also depends on who's in the administration at that point too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it may not even be the U.S. or Israel taking them out. It could be the own people uprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just answered that. Joel, I just saw a question. Where did it go? Here we go. Do you get an idea of when the ICE agents will they be unmasked or busted? Any retaliation? Any charges against them?
Well, the fact that they're running out of money and they're not getting paid.
You feel like they kind of just give up on the front?
Well, unfortunately, I feel like there's the militia Proud Boy types with the Nazi SWAT stickers that'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Because they're just cruel. I also feel that I don't know. I kept on getting. I don't know if this is true or not, but I kept on feeling like the reason why they're just going after anyone is because they're getting so much, like the bounty hunters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the mercenary bounty hunters, basically.
Yeah. The thing is I do feel some of them being unmasked and being caught.
I'm saying yes to it. Yeah.
But I do feel like there are some that kind of get away with it. The thing is, if they're masked, how do you know how to even identify them? But I do see a good amount of them being caught and tried. It doesn't feel like it's right now while Trump's in office. It would be after he's gone.
No, I still have. I forget who it was, but she in Congress. She said, "You realize you can buy what they're wearing on Etsy for $45 or something."
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. Thank you, Sue. Appreciate the super chat.
Hey, Ted.
What do we feel for gas prices?
It's $5.19 here right now, so.
And it's quite a bit higher than me here, but California normally
it just went down.
I feel like it's going to go up a little bit. I don't see it getting out of control, but I do see it trending up.
It's not good. I don't feel it's going to go to $6.99 like it was here.
Yeah.
At one point.
For us, I'm in Ohio, outside of Cleveland, and it was under $3 a gallon here. It was like $2.80, $2.70, and now it's actually over $3 a gallon. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up to between like $3.50 to $4, which is still pretty expensive, but I don't see it like being $6 a gallon for gas here, or anything crazy like that. But I do see it going up over the summer. Do you feel like I don't remember what that strait's called next to Iran, but do you feel like they're going to close that down?
I thought they did.
Hormuz? I think they talked about it. I don't think that they did.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I feel some issues in that strait. I actually wouldn't be surprised if a ship gets attacked, because I kind of had a vision of that when they were causing problems last year. I'm not feeling like a whole lot of mass casualties. I also feel
that Putin is telling him not to.
Yeah, kind of trying to temper the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy when Putin, I wouldn't call him the voice of reason, but.
No, there's a reason for everything he does, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that MTG was bitching about Trump, it was like, oh my God, I got to buy a lottery ticket. I'm agreeing with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? What about Anonymous? Were you getting any hits on what they're going to expose?
I'm not getting specific what it is, but I do get
it feels big.
Some really damning audio, video surveillance, like from CCTV, and paperwork that cannot be said it's fake news. It's like, no, you can't dispute this. And that's supposedly on the 3rd is when they're going to release stuff.
I'm getting it has to do, they're going to bring some clarity to a situation with involving Trump and a foreign nation is what I'm getting. And there is action here. I don't know if we're going to hear about mainstream media covering all of it, but I think we're going to hear about it, and there's going to be a lot more talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with something, maybe a deal with an adversary. My first thought is maybe it's connected to Russia.
Yeah, I feel it's more Russia than China.
I think it has to do with security, and when we had the whole Signal Gate thing, and you know, having our security being exposed to being hacked. I feel like it's some kind of cooperation between Trump, the U.S. government, and Russia receiving information. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, remember when he, in his first term, where Jared was trying to make a back deal with the Russians to have a, so they could communicate where nobody else would know?
It feels bigger than that, though. I feel like they have a lot of.
It seems that's in their DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
No,
but I feel like it's a, yeah, we knew that was true. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, there it is.
Thank you, Tara. I do see them acting upon it, though. It doesn't feel like it's all talk. They're gonna release some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Where's WikiLeaks when you need them?
Right. All right. Reynolds said Tulsi now claims what Trump said is correct. Yeah, she had shifted her position pretty quickly, right?
Mm-hmm. That's called cover your A so you have a job.
Right. Joe wants to know, will Putin get Crimea in exchange for the end of war? There's some negotiation. I don't think that Ukraine's going to have everything that they had going in before the war. I think they're going to keep a majority of the land, but when they're talking about,
I think they may give up. Well, as far as everyone's concerned, Crimea is already taken over.
Right, exactly. And maybe a portion of, what is it, like the Donbass region too? Is that where they have all the wheat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not all of it, but I do see some land in exchange for peace. But I don't feel like the Ukraine-Russia war is going to be going on too much longer myself. Putin's health is really not that great either. I just read on that yesterday. I see him leaving sooner rather than later.
No, I've always seen them like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. One goes down, the next.
They kind of go down at the same time, yeah.
Or like the three stages, because then that would mean Netanyahu would be like Larry. Then we have, you know, Mo and Curly.
Yeah. They all kind of go down around the same time. Yeah, I agree with that. Do we feel like Trump's going to exacerbate the conflict between Israel and Iran?
I feel he may have some rhetoric, but it's just words.
I don't see American troops on the ground in Iran. I don't feel World War III. I know everybody's afraid of that. I don't see nukes being dropped.
I don't see that either.
I don't feel and here's the ship again. There's something with the ship. There's definitely a lot of fear associated with this, and there's going to be some more dicey situations, but I do have somebody, Queen of Pentacles, coming in and grounding and tempering the situation. And actually, if it feels like Trump, there's a big judgment against him. Again, there's something with battleships, though. You can see the battleships in the background here, and then the Six of Swords here. So I don't feel like it's over, but I don't see it escalating into full-blown war with Iran. And actually, it feels like it's going to be more so Israel and Iran kind of going back and forth with it. U.S. kind of getting involved. Maybe it's over a ship situation. attacking one of our naval ships or one of the trade ships going through there.
I don't know what this means. I just got a bridge collapsing. Maybe that's peace. The bridge piece is collapsing. We'll see.
Do you feel like it's a literal bridge? Like,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I
don't know. It feels like it's more related to the U.S., so it doesn't feel like it has to do with the conflict.
Okay. I don't know why I guess got that. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
So I was doing a show with Linda. She goes, "Oh, I got a flash." I said, "I thought you were too old for those."
That's funny. Do you feel like, and we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute, I think, but what, like those Iranian sleeper cells, do you feel like there's going to be some activity with terrorism in the U.S. and associated to Iran, and I even feel like domestic stuff?
I feel more domestic people than and blaming it on them.
Yeah.
But also, I've been picking up something about, I want to see what you get on Barron. I feel in August there's going to be a downfall with something with all this crypto stuff, and it's going to be a scandal. Because supposedly he's made $40 billion off of crypto already.
Wow. I'll throw some cards on Barron. I will just say I do feel like there's going to be a false flag incident, is what I just heard. When we were talking about them blaming, domestic terrorism on like Iranian, there's going to be some kind of false flag incident in regards to terrorism. All right, let's take a look at Barron. So you were saying you were feeling some kind of downfall
for Barron regarding crypto and things falling apart.
Are you picking up legal challenges, Tim? Because the first card up's justice. Yeah.
I feel what was done, there's something that was done under the table, underhanded, illegal, and they get caught.
Yeah, there's definitely the High Priestess. So there's some hidden agenda here and somebody coming out to expose it. I don't know if I'm feeling jail time for Barron. It feels like there's a bit of negotiation with this and back and forth, but I mean, there is some kind of legal challenges for him. I agree.
And if there's a draft, he'll automatically inherit his dad's bone spurs.
I don't see the U.S. implementing a draft. I know you're being. Yeah. All right, I'm starting to wind down, but
thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Arthur. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. Like I said, I'd love to be on your channel. Let's do not maybe like weekly, but maybe we could do some kind of semi-regular collaboration.
Once a month or something.
Yeah,
something.
But all right, thank you. And I'm sure most people already watching are subscribed to your channel, but your channel name's Arthur Ease Your Mind. Please, everybody, go over to his channel and help support him. You offer readings. What all do you offer for?
I do personal readings, and I just ask people for their social security numbers and passwords and hang up on them. No, I have readings. Just go to my website, arthureaseyourmind.com, and bookings are there. I think I have some at the end of July, and all of August is open.
Nice. And Arthur's a wonderful reader. We met in person at Mel's Chicago event, so we were kind of bouncing some intuitive information back and forth. So he's the real deal. So check him out for a reading. If you're interested, go over to his channel and support. And I'm offering readings and Reiki sessions right now too. If anybody's interested, go to my website, kevinlovingvibrations.com. Again, thank you so much, Arthur. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed having you on the channel.
We'll do it again. And thank you, everybody, for stopping by.
Yes. Lots of love in the chat tonight. Y'all take it easy. Try your best not to get sucked into all of the chaos. my guides were saying the most important thing right now is to really manage your energy, keep your vibrations strong. You know, we don't want to be putting out doom and gloom into the universe when things are so turbulent. Just do your best to find that inner peace, do those things that you love, you know, distract yourself if you need to, but take really good care. And we'll see you all soon. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.